High Leverage Practices in Special Education by Katie Brady and Anna Barrett. High leverage practices focuses on the way we shape our instruction while keeping our ultimate goals for our students in mind. It allows the teacher to reflect on how effective their teaching strategies are, while also analyzing students' progress along the way, which is our ultimate goal. We want our students to succeed. The following strategies that we'll be focusing on will be collaboration, assessment, social, emotional, behavioral practices, and instruction. Think of these 4 strategies as a toolbox. It allows the teacher to not only tailor to how they'll form their lessons and their strategies, but it will also help keep the students' needs in mind by analyzing their progress.
Collaboration plays such a huge role in the educational field. It is so important for a student's success that teachers are collaborating with everyone in order to increase the students' academic skills or any other skills that they are working on. When it comes to general education teachers, we need to make sure that we're working on the correct areas of need. We don't need to be spending so much time on things that are not important for the student's success and for the student to gain. Sharing ideas and focusing on the student is also great. Teachers should have open ears when people want to help and not always think that their way is the best way, because sharing ideas could really help the student out. And these teachers also need to be willing to negotiate. Negotiating on the student's needs. If a kid's really struggling in one area, there's always another way that we can connect with that student to get them where they need to be.
Data is everything in the world of education. We felt that HLP 6 was an important practice to mention. It states to use student assessment data, analyze instructional practices, and make necessary adjustments that improve student outcomes. In our classroom, we would use this practice by utilizing benchmarks, tests and quizzes, and even just regular classwork to gain this data. And from that data, we can really analyze how our teaching strategies are effective. And by the students' work, it shows us where we might need to fix some things that we use in our strategies that may not be working for our students. And it's important to focus not only on the students' academic work, but also their behavior and their social behaviors. And in special education, it's important to focus on the student as a whole. This practice also helps the teacher to self-reflect on whether or not their teaching is effective, and it allows the teacher to analyze what strategies to use again or which ones that don't work and to get rid of. HLP 6 as a whole just states how important data is, and without data, we really have nothing to make instructional decisions on. And by using this practice, it really helps the teacher know where the student's progress is going and where their progress is going as the teacher.
When it comes to social and emotional needs for our students, we need to remember that every student is going to react differently. And so the central role of the special ed educators is to make sure that when we decide that a behavior needs to be addressed, that we do a functional behavior assessment. And then from the functional behavior assessment, we need to make a hypothesis of what triggers this behavior to happen. And then once we find out what we think triggers these behaviors, it is important that we make a plan. This plan can be that to teach, when this behavior happens, to teach the pro-social behavior instantly. And also, there's two other ways to alter the environment. Alter the environment and make up a replacement environment. So if the kid's acting out and you know it's in the lunchroom, then provide an alternate environment until we can get this behavior under control. And also, another way to alter the environment is to not allow the child to get to the point where this behavior is happening. You just have to really watch the child, because like I said, every child is going to be different. And then we need to make sure, while we are applying this this plan, that we are recording it and doing progress monitoring, so we can see if the kid is improving and if this exercise that we're doing is for the better of the kid, or if we need to try a different way. It's just really important to remember that every student is going to be different.
Education has always been thought of as the building blocks of learning. HLP 12 states that teachers should systematically design instruction toward a specific learning goal. Teachers should have a starting point and an end point when developing their lessons and progressing through their units. Teachers should sequence their lessons that build on each other to help the students be more successful in reaching that ultimate goal. So, for example, in math, we would use this idea by means of saying, if we want our students to learn algebra, the very first step that they need to learn are those basic skills is addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Then they can go on and learn the order of operations. From order of operations, they need to learn how to solve one-step equations and two-step equations. In math, with HLP 12, this is super important to practice, and it allows the teacher to not only look at their strategies, but look at where their students are struggling. Throughout the process, if one student is struggling on step 1, it wouldn't be fair for us to bring them to step 2 when they haven't mastered step 1. So with that in mind, this practice takes careful consideration with knowing where we want our students to start and where they want them to be. And in education, and especially in special education, our students learn at different rates, so it's important to utilize this practice in the classroom, especially in math.
Explicit instruction has been one of my favorite things to learn about throughout this master's program. Whenever you are teaching a new subject or teaching something that you know your students are probably going to struggle with, using explicit instruction means that you are modeling what you expect these students to learn, and you're also thinking out loud while you teach it. For some students, hearing you think and process can maybe connect some things in their head that they weren't getting at first. It is very important to remember that there's going to be misconceptions. No teacher is going to have a classroom full of students that are going to understand a topic. So it's very important to understand that, and to also remove any distracting information, because we want these students to learn these things as quick as they can, but understand that this might not happen, and that explicit instruction could be the best way to teach it. Katie and I really enjoyed doing this high leverage practice presentation. It was really fun for us. I know fun sounds like a weird word, but it was fun for us to learn all these different strategies that are going to make us be great teachers one day. Just knowing how to deal with other people in the school, how to deal with even family support, the way that we do instruction, everything plays together, and it's really cool to see that all play out. I liked reading about the social emotional stuff, because I've had to work with a lot of kids with autism, and so I really enjoyed being able to read about the functional behavior assessments and all of that. Thank you so much for challenging us and allowing us to do presentations like this that I know are going to let us or prepare us to be great teachers one day. Thank you.